Welcome into the Thunder Basketball Universe presented by COOP Ale Works for the second consecutive time. We are coming to you from the Thunder's practice facility, the Thunder Ion, and that's because we have a very special guest with us today, and that is Vít Krejčí joining us on the podcast for the very first time. Vít, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, it's an honor, to have you here. We're winding down the season, and we couldn't end the year without talking to you on the podcast because you are one of the most happy, bubbly guys on the team. It's such a joy to talk to you, so we needed to get you on the pod.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, and the crazy part is you've been around the team this is your second season around the team. First time being able to step on the floor and actually play with the team. So this is just a great opportunity for us to get to know you a little better and for you to, for our fans to get to know you a little better.
It's been a long time coming.
It has.
It's been a long time coming.
It has.
Well, I still remember last year, we were doing our Bally Sports Oklahoma game broadcasts in the arena. There was no fans in the building, and here comes this guy, and he comes and taps me on the shoulder. He's like, "Hey man, I'm Vít." I was like, "Oh, what's up, Vít?" I had no, and you just sat in front of us kind of for the whole game, and it was so cool. That's why I say you're such a down to earth guy and so matter of fact, and there you were just hanging out in the stands. You were rehabbing your knee during the day, and then watching the games at night.
Yeah, it was super cool. I mean, the fact that I was able to, there was no fans last year, so just the fact that I was able to go, just helped me a lot because, never really watched NBA that much because, because of the time difference, and obviously I was playing in Spain. So just watching the games, it was just so much helpful.
Yeah. That's incredible. Okay, so we will get into all of your background because you have a really, really interesting story. Obviously, you've gone through a lot of adversity to get to where you are now. We're going to get into all that. Don't you worry.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Normally, we play a game when players come on the podcast. It's called a starting five. We do rapid questions, rapid fire questions. But with you specifically, we have one question.
Yeah, it's just we can't stop thinking about it.
We can't.
All right, a little nervous.
No. It's all good. It's all good. We need you to explain your tattoos.
My tattoos?
Yes, because they are front and center whenever obviously you're in your jersey, and it's a beautiful picture. And we figured there has to be a story behind it.
So unique. And for our YouTube watchers here, if you'll show them, show them your arm there.
So I got right here, then this one right here, this right here. This was my first one, and then I got a.
We didn't even know about that one. We didn't even know that one.
This was my first one.
Okay.
So it was when I was 18. So I got an older sister. So we just saw this idea where she got a 1 because she was born first. So I got just a little 2. That was I just wanted to get a tattoo. That was my kind of first one. And then I started. This was my first bigger one because obviously I just wanted something with theme of basketball. And then I got this right here that says competitiveness, execution, and passion. So I got my mellow coach. We got just some things that I got to focus on during the game. So he advised me to, first of all, when I didn't have that tattoo, I used to take a Sharpie and then write it here, just C, E, and P. So every time during the practice or game, I could just look at it and just make sure that I'm doing all those things.
Wow.
Just to remind me a little bit because those are my core values.
Yeah.
That's what we call it. And then I just figured I would have a tattoo right here. So that's why I have it right here. So during the game, I can just look at it. And
and when you're shooting too, it's right there in front of your face.
Yeah, well, I'm not looking at that while I'm shooting.
That's true.
During the game, I can just look at it and say, am I being competitive? Am I execution well? Am I playing with passion? And then I have this, which is my family. So there's I think it's called zodiac signs.
Yeah.
So this is my sister, my mom, and my dad.
Okay.
And then their birthdays. And then this is a wolf and how's it called? Geopard, I think in English.
Yeah.
Okay.
Leopard.
Yeah.
And that's also something we figured out with my male coach. Just kind of the two sides I have in my personality.
Oh, okay.
So I really trying to put a lot of thoughts into the tattoos, and obviously this one. That's a silhouette of Czech Republic and the Czech Republic flag in it.
Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah, and it's great that you explained all of that because we kind of get an idea of you as a person, right?
Yeah.
Family, very important to you. Your competitiveness, how you play the game. I mean, that's evident just watching you. You play with such a high motor. You obviously love the sport. Yeah. And so seeing all of that kind of show up in the tattoos.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I mean, I'm trying to put a lot of thoughts in it, and then I've been working with my male coach for 2-3 years. So he already know me well too. So, every idea I have, I kind of run it through him. And, we just kind of figured out some cool stuff to do. So that's definitely not going to be my last. I want to
Okay.
I want to finish up the sleeve.
So we can expect to see more as time goes on. Okay.
100%.
So give us the breakdown of the wolf and the leopard. Like, what part of you is the wolf? What part of you is the leopard?
So I would say the wolf is more like my personal life. I'm like I said, family is really important for me. And for the wolf, obviously it is too. And it's a calm animal, but then when it's in a danger, he's like he can be really strong. So that was kind of a most important part, about the family.
Yeah.
And then the leopard, that was more in the basketball thing, like being just like determined and like fast, and really like leopard, they're real like, I wouldn't say competitive, but they go on after their stuff,
Yeah.
So that was more of the basketball side of it.
Well, it's such an interesting breakdown. I know we're going to talk about your family too, but like you had to have both of those sides balanced when you made this incredible decision at age 13 to leave your home of Strakonica, Czech Republic, and go to Spain. And you balance this connection to your family to your basketball side, your career, going for it and going for it quickly, early. I mean, just give us the sort of the breakdown of what's going through you as a 13-year-old trying to make that choice.
Yeah, well, I remember the first time I got that offer, 13, I wasn't really thinking about it. I was just like, I knew what I want to do. I knew I wanted to play basketball. I knew I wanted to play at the best level, and I knew Spain was the best for me. So I wasn't even thinking about it. I was just like, let's go. So I had two options. I had either go there when I was 13 and my mom would go with me for like half a year and then she would leave, or I would go there next season and then I would go by myself. And we figured it would be the easiest to me go as soon as possible and then with my mom. So, that's why family is so important for me because, my dad, he coached me like my whole life basically. So, he helped me get where I was when I was 13. And then my mom, she just left everything back home. She left her job, she left everything, and she just went there with me, which was just like amazing. Like back when I was 13, I couldn't really process that, But then when I got there and, I realized that it's not going to be that easy because, I just thought I'm just going to play basketball and everything is going to be easy. It wasn't like that, obviously. Right. So being like my mom being there with me, I just realized how important that is. And later on, I just realized how big of a sacrifice for her it was to come there with me for half a year, left her job with everything. And obviously for my sister too, she was, back when I went to Spain, she was 17. And my dad, he's in the military, so he was working a lot. He was out a lot. So also for my sister, being 17 and she had to take care of herself and start cooking and all that. I know it wasn't easy, especially for her. I remember a lot of times, we were in Spain and my sister would call my mom crying that she didn't know what to do because something happened back at home. So that, later on I just realized how big of a sacrifice everybody made for me. So I'm just so grateful for them. And it's just nice that, now that I'm here, I know they're super happy for me and they know that all the sacrifice was worth it. So now I'm just happy that I can help them a little bit, to get back what they gave me.
And that's a big leap of faith too for you were 13 years old to make that big of a jump to leave the Czech Republic and go pursue this basketball career. So let's take a step back and tell us what led to 13-year-old Vít making that decision to go to go play basketball professionally. What led to that point? How did you know that basketball was going to be the thing for you?
Well, I would say again, my dad, he always coached me and he pushed me to be the best every time. Whatever it took, he always wanted me to be the best. And
did your dad play ball at all?
Yeah, he played a little bit back in Czech Republic. He didn't play like professionally, but he did play. And so the city where I grew up, there wasn't a basketball team. So there was only a girls basketball team. So until I was like 7, I could play with girls. I played actually with my sister. She played basketball too. So I played there with it was like mixed, and then I went to a different city that was like 20 minutes away. So it was like close, but also my dad had to take me every day there. Well, not every day, like twice a week. And then the rest of the week, when my sister would practice back in the city in Strakonica, he would practice with me on the side, just hours and hours and hours and hours. So also the decision why I made that decision was, I already put so much into it, and I just wanted to see what my limit is.
Yeah.
And so that's how I was thinking about it. I was like, well, I have this opportunity, if I don't take it, I might regret it. It might not work out, but at least I would.
Right.
That's what I'm doing every day. Like I don't know where I can be, but I'm gonna do everything I can for me to find that top. So I just wanted to go there. Like I said, I had a big support from my family. So yeah, it wasn't a hard decision for me.
Okay.
What even started the passion for basketball? Because you're one of only 2 Czech players in the NBA currently, Thomas Satoransky. There's only been, I think, maybe a handful of NBA players from the Czech Republic ever. 5, right? Yeah. So how did you even come to love the game and have it on your radar?
Yeah, so my sister also played basketball her whole life, and so since she's 4 years older than me. So basically, ever since I was born, we were like in a gym 24/7. We basically grew up in a gym. My mom actually she was working in like a department office, but then we were so much in the gym that she took like a side job at the gym because we were just there every single day, the whole day.
Might as well.
She was like, rather than she obviously liked watching us practice, but
might as
she
well
was
get
like,
paid to be here.
Might as well. I'm gonna take a job or something just so I don't get bored. So we basically grew up in the gym. So it was an easy decision for me. I tried soccer for a little bit, but I've never basketball was just all I wanted to do.
Tell us about your sister. It sounds like she's had kind of a big impact on you. The first tattoo you ever got, you got it with her. Just talk to us about your relationship with her.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough. Once I left, it was tough to still have that connection. But I think that's what made the relationship so good. That even though we see each other like twice a year, we were still in contact, and we're still when we were home and we were together, just enjoy ourselves and build that relationship. So that was super important. And like I said, she helped me like tremendously early enough. Like I don't know if I would play basketball if my sister wouldn't play.
Right.
So it was just a big help. And she was always a big sister for me. So and also like I said before, when my mom went to Spain with me, she had to take care of herself. That was really tough. So everything they've made for me and they'll help me get here. I'm just super blessed that it just all worked out.
So have they been able to come out to the United States and come to Oklahoma City and see you play?
So my parents were here once. Okay. They were here for Christmas because, again, last summer I wasn't able to go home because I was rehabbing. And, I just thought that was the best decision to stay here and rehab. And my dad, like I said, he's in the military and he's going to get deployed again in summer. So I won't see him in the summer. So that's why they came for Christmas. They were here for like a month. So that was really nice, and really nice seeing them. It was like it's been like 2 years since I've been home, so I don't have to. I can't see my parents that as much as I wanted to. But like I said, going away from my family when I was basically 14 when my mom left. I kind of got used to it, but obviously this relationship is still there, and they helping me even though we're not together. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about you after you left home. So you obviously left. Your mom was with you for a year. What was kind of the transition period like? And then how did you, go head first into basketball from there?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough, like the first year by myself in Spain. That was really, there was times where, I wanted to go home, obviously, like there was a lot of nights where I just wish I would have been home. But again, like I woke up the next day, went to practice and just remember why I'm here. I just never thought that I reached my level where I could be. So that just kept pushing me to get better and get better and get better. And, my dad also, he always reminded me, look, you already sacrificed so much. You could, everybody in our family and everybody believes you, so, you can do amazing things. So that just motivated me, and also what motivated me was I knew that my family already sacrificed so much. So I knew that one day, if it works out, I will be able to take care of them. So that was also my motivation, they definitely not care about if I buy them a house. They don't care about that. But, it's just nice to, help them like get a vacation or, being able to bring them out here and enjoy a lot of stuff, So it's just nice to give them something back, even though, for them, the more important part is that I'm happy.
Right.
I just want to take you to Zaragoza, Spain. I mean, I'm thinking, here's a 14-year-old kid. The game of basketball over the course of your life has already taken you to a country that many people all over the world would dream to go to and live in. Like, what was your perception of the city of Zaragoza, and especially like compared to Strakonica, where you came from? What was like the cultural differences that you were trying to navigate? The food, everything,
Yes.
Did you have a language barrier for yourself when you got over there?
So that was another thing. Obviously, I didn't speak Spanish when I got there.
Okay.
And they don't speak much English in Spain, so I had to learn quickly. So the first year, I went there to school. And it was tough because I had to be in a school for 6 hours a day, but I didn't know any Spanish.
Oh no!
So the range was, I was still in, not high school, but it's like, I don't know how to say it, like till 14 I had to go to school like at least 6 hours a day. It was like middle school or something like that.
Okay.
So I had to finish that. So I was still finishing school in Czech Republic, but I had to go to school in Spain just so I would have something that says that I go to school for like six hours a day.
Right.
So it was just like, I got there the first day, I had no idea of Spanish. And then I was just sat there for 6 hours and I was just looking at them and like, it was horrible. It was horrible. But luckily at the end we found like a way that out of those 6 hours, 2 hours, I had like individual Spanish, class. So that was like nice.
This is at least helpful.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the other 4 hours, I was just sitting there like, all right, cool. So there were subjects that I could do something, like they had English class, so I did that. But if they were doing like Spanish class, I was just like looking there because they were doing all crazy stuff, So I was just in a back seat, just like watching at it and just trying to catch some words I knew, So, but it was fun. I learned Spanish pretty quickly. So.
I imagine so. Yeah, 6 hours a day. Yeah. You learned pretty quickly.
I had to.
I was just gonna say. So you came to Spain with English already. You were already bilingual.
Like obviously Spanish is a little bit more. People speak more Spanish. Nobody speaks Czech. Only in Czech Republic. So we do have to learn another language.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I had to learn German too, back in Czech Republic. But then when I got to Spain, I forgot it all. So I was focusing only on Spanish, not on German.
Yeah. So then you spent 6 hours a day in school. What did you do outside of that as a 14-year-old kid?
Well, not a lot. I mean, my mom was there with me the first year.
Yeah.
So like we was just. Like my mom would go for a walk because she was also, but she didn't have a job there, so she was obviously bored. So we were just trying to spend a lot of time together, And then actually there was another Czech player there that was a little older. He was 3 years older than me, and he was already there for 2 years. So he helped me also tremendously, like knowing the city, and I knew him for a little bit back in Czech Republic.
What's his name?
Shimon Purcell. He's still playing in Czech now, but he played in Spain for like. He was in Zaragoza for like 5 years.
Okay.
So he also helped me like tremendously, with the city and all that.
That has to be super comforting to have, somebody who speaks your, original language, and then somebody who's doing what you are trying to do.
Yeah. So that was also one of the reasons where, that was deciding that we could go there like the first year, because we knew he was there and we knew that he could help us a little bit.
Yeah.
So can you just compare, your hometown with Zaragoza, like just even what they look like, what the climate, like all of that stuff? Yeah.
Yeah. So I said it before. I feel like U.S. is a little more like closer to Czech Republic than Spain. Okay. Spain is really, really different. Like all the culture is very different. We have like lunch would be at like 2 p.m. The dinner would be at like 11, and we would practice from 9 p.m. to like 11:30 p.m.
Oh my gosh!
Just hungry all the time.
Yeah. So it was just like tough. It was tough, and I'm a morning person, and I like to go sleep early, so it was really tough for me. But obviously, after 7 years, I got used to it.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the NBA life, where you're always going to bed late.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. But yeah, I mean, the food is amazing. Like, the food is obviously the best.
Yeah.
What I didn't like is when we went to lunch or dinner, it's just like 3 hours of dinner, like because they're taking their time, you know.
Yeah, that's part of the culture. You gotta enjoy it.
Yeah, they like really enjoy it.
We savor our food.
So
we don't eat it.
You got the first plate, which is like pasta.
Yeah.
Then you got the second plate, which is like meat or like fish. Then you got to order the dessert. And it takes like 3 hours to get.
He's like, I already spent 6 hours at school.
Yeah,
like, can we hurry this up?
No, can we go home?
So what is it in Czech Republic? What's the normal like dinner cadence?
Yeah,
there?
it's more similar to the US, so I'm a little bit more familiar with this.
Yeah.
So obviously every culture has like ups and like betters and like worse, you know. One thing that was like super weird for me, and I'm not saying I did that a lot, but one thing that was like worse for me, I don't go out a lot, but if we did went out, it was like we would everything would start at like 2 a.m. Like everything would open, like the bars would open at like 2 or 1 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
So it was terrible for me. It was terrible. Like I didn't do that. I think in 7 years I got out like 3 times just because like at 1 a.m. I'm not thinking about like, all right, let's get up and let's go to the bar or something like that. You know?
Yeah.
So that was horrible.
Wow.
Was horrible.
Well, it sounds like you adjusted pretty quickly to life in Spain. You
Yeah.
obviously were there for a very long time. Talk to us about kind of the basketball journey that you took while you were in Spain.
Yeah, so I started with like cadets and juniors. And then when I was like 15, 16, I started playing with the B team. And then I started practicing with the ACB, with the first team. You know, that was amazing. I started practicing like twice a week.
Yeah.
But I remember when I was 16, we had Gary Neal there. You know, he played in the Spurs. He was like an amazing player. And I would actually live right by him. So we would have like from when I was 14 till when you're 18, we had like a little apartment. There was 6 of us, like 6 players.
Okay.
And then we would have one. He was a coach because we were all less than 18, so we had to have somebody above 18 to live with us because we were just kids. We couldn't live by ourselves.
Okay.
So that was how we lived throughout the like 5 years, and then I moved to like a little apartment where I was living with 3 other guys, but we didn't have like coach because we were all above 18. So that was how we lived. But Gary Neal actually lived like right by us, and I remember he used to take me to practice. And we would go there like every day, like hour before, and he would just pass me the ball and coach me.
Wow.
So that was like amazing. I had such a good relationship with him. So, you know, just being 16 and I obviously he played the same position.
Yeah.
And I was just guarding him every day in practice. So being 16, guarding NBA champion every day in practice, it was just amazing lesson, you know. So
that's incredible.
And then obviously like the next years there were a lot of guys that, you know, didn't play in the NBA but were really veteran guys, you know, in Europe, and that just gave me so much experience.
Yeah. Talk to us about when you made that transition to ACB and like to actually be able to play with the top team. Yeah,
I mean that was tough, but like I said, because I had, and obviously we put a little bit more emphasis on practices in Europe because we had 1 game a week or 2 games a week. So we had 4 hard practices where we would play 2 and 3, 4 and 4, 5 and 5, which is not like here you just play games, you know. So we would obviously practice a little more. So, you know, and luckily for me, we had a coach every time that, you know, he really wanted to practice be like games. So, you know, once I made that transition to play games, I was a little bit more comfortable because I already had so much repetition from practice that, you know, it made it a little bit easier.
One thing that obviously stands out from that is your motor on the floor. And as you're talking, it's like, of course, you play like a guy who practices full speed every single time.
Yeah.
When you get out onto the floor now, like how much of that do you feel? Do you feel like sort of all of that coaching and
for sure, a lot. I actually struggled with that a little bit early in the season because like the coaches in Europe are really hard and they like scream at you and all that. So I was used to that, and I got my dad screaming at me my whole time. So, but I feel like what my dad always used to tell me is that if your coach scream at you for every mistake you make, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, because then it really means that he cares. If you make a mistake and he just don't care, that means that he don't believe in you.
Right. So when they're quiet, that's when you have to
worry.
Yeah.
So, you know, luckily luckily, I had every time coach screaming at me. So, I was able to, maintain the competitive, I was always so competitive because of that, because I had made a little mistake. And I remember there was times where I remember we lost the game, and it was in juniors, and we lost the game, and there was a week where if you made any mistake defensively, you would be on defense the whole practice, and if you made another mistake, you would have to run suicides, and we used to run like 100 suicides, like a practice, and we would just run and run and run, So that coach was crazy, but again, he just like scream at us all the time. So that was like, for me, in the beginning, I didn't know if he was just like that or he was just screaming at like me.
Right.
But there was times where he didn't scream at everybody the same. So it was just, for me, it was a motivation to continue to work on myself because I knew he believed in me. So, and obviously coaches here are a little bit different,
right?
Because you can't do this. It's already like it's obviously different in juniors. And when I got to professionals, he didn't scream at all the guys. Veterans, you're not gonna do that. But he still screamed at us young guys. So it was just like a good feeling.
I was gonna say, it's not exactly the NBA culture, but like when Mark screamed at you for the first time, were you kind of just like, yes?
I mean, I didn't say yes, but I was like, cool. Let's do it. I was feeling better, a little bit better after that.
All right, a little more comfortable in my element now. Yeah,
that's more like it.
Yeah, it's more familiar.
Yeah.
So obviously things weren't all sunshine and rainbows for you during your professional career in Zaragoza. You encountered a pretty big injury while you were over there, tearing your ACL.
Yeah.
When did that happen, and just like how big of an impact did that have on you, just from a personal standpoint, knowing how hard you worked to get to that point?
Yeah, obviously it was hard because that season, it was the second game of the season, and I was on a court for like 18 seconds in that second game. So it was like literally first play.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just tough because on that season I was supposed to have a much bigger role, and I was supposed to establish myself, and I was feeling really good going into that season. So unfortunately, I just came down, and it was just so unfortunate, but it made me realize, like, before I was really, really focused, and obviously I still am, but I was like just laser focused on basketball, and that injury just made me realize that there's more things in life than just basketball. I actually, like a lot of veterans players, had problems with me because I was just so into basketball, like I didn't care about anything. I was like, I actually, like, the coach, when I got to the first team, actually, like one weekend, the coach told me to not look at any basketball. I couldn't practice. I couldn't do anything. And he was just telling me, like, relax, just like go outside and just do anything else besides basketball. Because I was just so into basketball. And it did, like, it had positive things, but also it had some negative thing into it, that if I played a bad game, I was really hard on myself, really, down.
There's no escape.
There was no escape. So, with that injury, it made me realize that, there's a little bit more into life than basketball. Obviously made me much closer with my family because they helped me through it a lot. Again, when I got injured, my mom went to Zaragoza to take care of me for like a month, when I couldn't walk. So that was, like, again, so helpful. And it just made me enjoy basketball much more,
Yeah, I've encountered the exact same injury, and one thing that sticks in my mind is like the loneliness that comes with it, because it's monotony every single day. It's like, okay, can you flex your quad today? Can you try to stand up today? Can you do a calf raise today?
I remember it was like horrible, just doing the everyday stuff, like going to shower or going to get something to eat, so that's, my mom was there. It's just so helpful. But yeah, the first week or first 2 weeks after the surgery, I was in a lot of pain. So, my mom being there with me was just so helpful.
How long did it take for you to have that perspective after hurting yourself and having that injury, for you to realize that, okay, there's some benefit to this?
I mean, it took a while. It took a while, because when I was when I couldn't walk or anything, I was just, negative all the time because, but once I started making progress, and once I, start believing again that, I could come back and I can come back stronger, that's when I realized, there can be positive that I can take from that. But obviously it took a while.
There was also one other big positive, that not too long after you got injured, you get drafted in the NBA draft. I mean, that had to, did Did that come out of nowhere to you?
Yeah, that was just amazing feeling. That was amazing. But I remember, to be honest, it wasn't the night I would expect it, because I remember, actually, that's a funny story. I was back in Zaragoza and my mom already left, and I still couldn't like really walk. So I was by myself in an apartment. I had a computer with the draft on, and I had an iPad with my family on Skype and my agent and my sister. And I didn't know the draft was so long. Like, it took so long. It was like we started watching like 12 p.m.
Yeah.
And I think I got drafted like 4 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I was the whole night I was just like, whew. It was 4 a.m. and I got drafted, and so my family was there. I was watching the draft, and I had my family like on Skype, and I had my sister there, and she went to work the next day. So, and they were recording it for like the media in Czech Republic. They were recording it. And when they recorded, my sister, when I was drafted, my sister was sleeping, and it was on the camera. And it was so funny. It was so funny. So then they broadcast it to TV, and it was seen by millions of people.
Oh, it went viral? Oh my gosh.
And it was just my sister was seen on that TV, just like that.
Oh no.
And it was so funny. We had so much fun about it.
Vít, you got drafted 37th. Just imagine how long the draft must have felt for Aaron Wiggins, who was drafted 55th, or these guys.
I can't imagine that. I can't imagine. But it was just so funny because everybody was just so sleepy.
Yeah.
And then they say my name. I was just like that. And then
Did she wake up?
No, she woke up like 5 minutes later. So I was like, yeah, let's go. And then my sister was just there. It was just so funny.
Oh my gosh.
But it was just nice to have at least my family on Skype. I wish they would be there with me. But, just having my family on Skype was just so nice.
Well, they weren't sleeping she wasn't sleeping out of boredom.
No,
for sure not.
Well, it's just, it's the Krejci family way. They like to go to bed early.
Yeah.
And so, just this late night stuff is not for them.
Was not built for us. So she had to go to work at like 6 a.m. So she just fell asleep. So it was just a good laugh. It was just amazing.
That is a memory that will last forever.
I remember when I saw that on TV. It was just so funny.
Oh my gosh.
It was so funny.
Then take us through kind of what happened right after that. You get drafted. What did the next kind of, I guess, few months look like for you?
So we were trying to figure it out. Obviously, they wanted me to come here to do the rehab. So we were trying to figure it out. It wasn't easy because obviously I was still under contract in Zaragoza. And, they did an amazing job. Like the Thunder and my agents and everybody, they did this amazing job to work with Zaragoza. So they would let me come here and do the rehab, which, obviously was like the best thing that could have happened. Best thing that could have happened. Come here and do the rehab, get like introduced a little bit to the NBA, watch the games, be here with the coaches, get prepared for next season, which was like for sure the best thing that could have happened.
All right, we'll get into this season now that you've gotten actually to get on the court, but let's take a quick break and we'll be right back.
COOP Ale Works is the proud sponsor of Thunder Basketball Universe. Brewers of the fan favorites F5 IPA and 99-calorie Ice Chest IPA. You'll find those and many more COOP beers at retailers across Oklahoma. Learn more at coopaleworks.com.
Okay, so we left off right before we started talking about this season for you, Vít. Obviously, this is your first time being able to be on the floor, wear this Thunder jersey, and actually play in real minutes. Just from an emotional standpoint, knowing you've overcome not just an ACL tear, but you have crossed over oceans to get here and even had to overcome an ankle injury at the start of this season. From an emotional standpoint, how have you felt recently?
It's just unbelievable moment, unbelievable. Just, seeing that the hard work just paid off, and obviously that I'm able to enjoy finally being on the court. That's what ever since the draft happened, that's what I was thinking about the whole time. That's what I was working for, and obviously didn't go the way I wanted to. But again, like I said, I'm just so blessed to finally be on the court. And like I said before, the injury just made me realize that, good or bad, you just got to enjoy every single second on the court because you never know when it's going to be your last.
Yeah, and you actually got into a couple games. The very first 2 games of the season, you got into those games. Were you expecting to be on the floor that quickly?
I mean, I was just enjoying, I was just enjoying being on the court. I just didn't care about anything else, to be honest. Obviously I was prepared to play, but I was just like just let me get out there and just play basketball. That's what I was thinking about.
Well, then we fast forward. You have this ankle injury with the G League with the OKC Blue, so you're not back on the floor for the Thunder until mid-February, right before the All-Star break. Just tell us about that whole time span and how long that took to get back.
Man, the whole season was just every time I felt good, something happened, and then right before the preseason games, they were like, "Vít, your visa is not." We don't know what happened, but your visa got declined, and you cannot play until we get the visa done. So then I lost all the preseason games. I had to go to Mexico City. I was there for 5 days. I had to get the visa, and then I could come back, and then I could play. So I couldn't even be with the team. Well, I could be with the team, but I couldn't play the games. I couldn't even be on a bench because technically I couldn't be. I think it was I couldn't be employed or something like that. I just so. That was just oh my God. So I had to go to Mexico City, and then, the season started. I felt pretty good, and then the knee happened again, and then I was feeling really good, and then the ankle happened again. Jeez. So it was just every time I was feeling really good, something just happened, and it's just it's done, So it was really tough, but, it just made me realize, just got to control what you got to control. That was the whole motto for me this season. Just control what you can control, So I was just getting injured, getting the visa stuff and all that. It was just things that I couldn't control. So all I could do was just prepared, to come back and prepared to be the best.
What's so interesting is that this sounds incredibly frustrating, just from an emotional standpoint. And yet every time we see you, you're one of the guys that waves when I'm waiting for an assistant coach walking out of halftime. And I'm he just seems so positive and so happy and upbeat all the time. And I can only imagine just everything that you've gone through would lead a lot of people to just be the world is out to get me and I cannot win. But that's not the case with you.
I mean, it definitely felt that at the time where everything happened. Definitely feel like that. Man, I just can't catch a break. I just couldn't catch a break. It was everything every time something. But again, I just try to look at it positive. Things that I cannot control. So all I could do was smile and
you can control your attitude.
Control my attitude and just prepare for the next. And be ready for the next time and. Do everything I could for the ankle injury or the knee injury not happening again, So that's what I did. And, obviously the organization made a really good job, just helping me get through it, whatever happens, they were just also positive, you're gonna get a chance, you got to stay on the course, and everything will work out. You
talked about that at the beginning of the year, that this Thunder organization is a great place for young players to come into the league and be developed, be really invested in. And I just was wondering if you could maybe expand on that, is why you feel that way.
Yeah, well, one thing, I was working a lot with Eric Maynard, right? And he also had an ACL injury. Yeah. So it was just so nice because I knew that he went through the exact same thing. And,
with the Thunder organization. He was a player on the Thunder when he went through that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, just having that, and obviously there's a lot of experienced people in this organization that just seen this happen hundreds and hundreds of times, So it was just, helpful to see that there were people that suffered the same injury and they just got through it and made them a better player, so they just made a good they're doing a good job with the Blue where just maintaining my confidence that I could still come back and be the best player I could be.
Before we let you go, we were just talking about this before the podcast started, that it's crazy the Thunder is in their final homestand of the season. So few games left. Vít, you have been getting some extended minutes on the floor. We've seen you notch career highs now. What is your goal just to run through the finish line of the season and finish strong? What are you trying to do and accomplish?
Just I still feel like I'm not the best version of myself, Obviously I don't feel the best physically. And obviously I got some minutes, but I still feel that I can bring a lot more to the team, So just with some guys being out, I can just show my versatility and hopefully help the team get better, which it's all about. So just finish the season strong, hopefully without any more injuries. That's the most important part, that everybody's still healthy till the end of the season, and just looking to finish strong.
Well, we see you on both ends of the floor. You play with that hustle. You're standing guys up at the rim and blocking shots, and then you're shooting almost 40% from three, which at this point leads all rookies in the NBA. So you've got to be feeling pretty good about, despite I know you're saying you're not maybe exactly where you want to be on this return to performance, but you got to be feeling pretty good about being able to be a two-end player.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm especially happy about the three-pointer because, that's one thing I've been working on the most probably since I got here. Like I said it before, but, before I could run, before I could, jump high, I could just shoot, So, I just spent hours and hours. I remember, last year I couldn't meet with the guys because I wasn't on the team, and because of COVID I couldn't. So I would got here 7 a.m. before everybody would come in, and I would just get some 1,000 shots up, before everybody came in. So, it's just nice to see the hard work paying off.
Benefits of being a morning person.
Yeah, seriously. Early bird. Yep, exactly. Well, Vít, we have enjoyed so much watching you play, and we're all happy for you, honestly. This Thunder Basketball Universe podcast team has been rooting for you for a long time. So congratulations on the opportunity that you're getting. We look forward to seeing all that you do for the rest of the season. And thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Vít.
All right. That's all for today's podcast. We want to thank you so much for listening and watching. Be sure to like, rate, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much to our producer, Matt Bishop, and for Vít for joining us today. And until next time, Thunder up and catch you later.